Tshelo bani ningacula umculo wethu lapho sohlangana khona kuzophela abantu.
Tshelo bani
Ningacula umculo wethu lapho sohlangana khona kuzophela abantu.
To the Center for Creative Arts team, thank you for your dedication and your hard work behind the scenes. It's much appreciated. To Peter Rovik, the director of the center, thank you for your vision, your passion, and commitment to ensuring that the Center for Creative Arts remains a center of excellence. To you, our lovely audience, thank you for supporting the Time of the Writer, not just for the last 6 days, but for the last 15 years. We know that your support will not just be for the next 15, but it'll go beyond that. To our facilitators, musician, technical team, thank you for being a part of this festival. And lastly, but most importantly, to the people who have graced our lives with your provoking words and powerful imagination. Baha, Colin, Kwame, Sefi, Benjamin, Cynthia, Leila, Tando, Iwande, David, Jesse, Chris, Lebo, Chris Manovic, the other was Chris Abani, Shabnam, Kibetli, Dumisani, Ibrahim, and Ronnie. Thank you, and a big, big hug, everybody. And now for tonight's program, I would like to welcome to stage vocal and guitar duo Rick and Jill Andrew to flavor the night with music.
This first song is it's called Fool in a Bubble, by a local musician, the late great Sid Kitchen. No one comes here with anger in their eyes. No one's born with a broken heart. But the bells are alive, they ring louder than the thunder in the sky, and they bring darkness to the eyes. No one comes here with evil in their souls. No one's born with the damage done, but the winds of change, they blow us through these corridors of life, and sometimes cut like a knife. Here I sit like a fool in a bubble, trouble and my head in a mess. The games we play just to find where we're going, we lose without knowing, and we seldom care less. Sometimes we fly too close to the sun. Sometimes we climb too high. Sometimes it's over before it's begun, and there's nothing left but to ask why. No one said that there's an easy road to walk. Gives when they need to take, but in this life, all these crazy things that move us along our way, they give us hope that there's another day. I sit like a fool in a bubble. Thank you very much. This next one is a song we've written. As I entered the book, I told you it's called I Woke Up This Morning. It's a kind of a blues song about the way life is. You wake up one day, it's great. The next day, it's a living hell. And the song is about that. So it's a kind of a blues gospel song. I woke up this morning. There was anger in the air. It was raging in the wheels, and it was twisted in my hair. Sullen, hungry faces in this land of shattered dreams. Hey, hey, I think I believe.
Woke up this morning, there was love in the air. Love out on the streets, there was love everywhere. Every smiling face, whoa, I believe. La 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 la. I believe. La 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 la.
I woke up this morning, there were lies on my radio. There were lies in the paper. There were lies on the breakfast show. Lies in the air we breathe, and lies on our tongues. Hey, I believe.
Woke up this morning, there was beauty in the sky, beauty in the garden, and beauty in my true love's eye. Beauty in the clouds and trees, and beauty in the sun. Whoa, I believe. La 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 la. I believe. La 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 la. I believe. Woke up this morning, there was music in the air, rising above the tumult. You can hear it if you care, coming from that sacred place of harmony and song. Whoa, I believe. Coming from that sacred place of harmony and song. Oh, I believe. Oh, I believe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that was lovely. Thank you, Jill and Rick. For tonight's first session, discussing inner city stories, we have from South Africa, Cynthia Jele and Kebetli Moele. This will be followed by a session with Kwame Dawes from Ghana and Jamaica and Colin Channer from Jamaica discussing roots, reggae, and writing. Folks, please remember the house rules. No unauthorized photography, and kindly switch off your cell phones. The books we have for sale, you'll find it outside in the foyer, but tonight's writers, we have their books. We have Kebetli's The Book of the Dead, Room 207, also by Kebetli, Cynthia Jele, The Happiness is a 4-letter word, and Colin Channer, Waiting in Vain. We did have books from Kwame Dawes, but unfortunately they all sold out. Fortunately. No, but it's unfortunate for you because you don't have it tonight. And we also have a book by Rick. It's called The Guitar Road. It was just launched now. It's the third book by Rick Andrews. Okay, so that's enough from me. Let's welcome to stage Cynthia Jele and Kebetli. This session will be facilitated by Zukiswa Wana.
Good evening, Durban. Good evening, Durban. Thank you. It's great to be here. I have on my left Kebetli Moeli, author of Room 207. Please look at it because it's available in the foyer for sale afterwards, as well as The Book of the Dead. Also, on my right, I have Cynthia Jele, author of Happiness is a 4-letter word. Jele is the winner of the Commonwealth Prize for Best First Book last year, so we're very proud of her. She also won the Mnet Award for the film category of book best able to be made into a film last year. So that's another applause. Kebetli, for his first book, Room 207, won the UJ Award. That's University of Joburg. We're waiting for the UKZN Award very soon. And for Book of the Dead, he won the South African Literary Award. But because I have to pun myself, I'm also the author of these other 2 books. And I didn't win any awards. Now, we're in Durban. Time of the Writer is probably the best literary festival I've ever attended, not just in South Africa, but in the world. So much so that every year, I keep coming even when I'm not invited. This year, I begged to facilitate a panel, and they were kind enough to let me do so, more so with these 2 prize winners. Kebetli, you are on record for saying that you lost your virginity in Durban. Have you found it?
I think that's a good question. Well, I was walking on Marine Parade and I saw the woman and I asked it back. She gave it back without any price.
We're sorry.
Well, I'm happy.
And Cynthia? No, I'm not asking about virginity. You have been a writer for a year now, or, well, 2 years, and you wrote before. You won the Anglo-American Prize for Short Story, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. So there's an interesting thing. A certain writer once told me that writers don't make a lot of money from their living, but they do get very interesting literary groupies. Have you got any literary groupies?
No. I was very worried about this panel, let me say, because Zugiswa and Kebetli are very funny people. No. Although I do receive love letters, or it's email, because it comes via the email. So, yeah, I do get a few.
And what
of
are you
those.
doing with those emails?
I'm just keeping them. It's just good memory. Maybe a story will come out of that, since I do romance.
Zuki, you
Yes.
forgot to ask off the record. She could have gave you the right answer.
Okay, off the
And what would
record.
have- off the record.
Off the record, tell us about the virginity thing. No, seriously. One of the things that struck me about reading your book, Happiness is a Four-Letter Word, is that the characters are very forgiving women. Are you that forgiving?
No. No, but you know what I was trying to do was to not take it from my perspective, because I'm not as forgiving. But I find that a lot of people are, and that's just the reality. So, you know, with every story in the book, there's 4 women, and they all go through stuff. With all of them, I had 2 possible conclusions. One was to say, thank you very much, I'm out of here. And the other was to find reasons to forgive. And it just, for them, I only knew one would definitely forgive at the end, because I've just seen way too many stories that end like that. But the other 3, you know, they had that opportunity to choose the other way. But in the end, because of how the story unfolds, it just ended up, you know, they ended up forgiving. And I must add that right now, I'm working with a screenplay writer, because the book is being adapted into a movie, and she just said rubbish. The movie's not going to end like that. So so it's going to probably, there might be changes, but she's not very happy with the whole forgiveness thing.
I would give them their money and say, no, take your money, bring back my book.
Kebeti, room 207. Are you the main character in room 207? I mean, you did pack up from Joburg, and now you're back in Limpopo, or Limbombo, as our president calls it.
The character is a character.
No, man. What inspired the character? You?
No. Well, I don't know, man. I think, I'm not that character. My name is Khabetli Moele. That's the character. What's his name?
How? You changed his name, Galop.
No. But what I know for certain, that I'm not anywhere connected with room 207.
Except that you wrote it.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. And Kebeti did a very interesting thing. I think many of you in the audience watched the very brilliant, award-winning television show called Intersections. Yeah. Now, before Intersections came out, Kebeti had written the Book of the Dead. And in the Book of the Dead, it's the HIV virus that actually speaks. And at the end of Intersections, for those of you who watched it, that actually happens. How did you feel about that? Did you feel that you were owed some royalties, or there was some plagiarism, or did you just think, well, you know, no idea is ever truly original?
I was going to say something that Black South Africans are forgiving, naturally.
You see.
Okay, Mandela.
Well, people called me. They was like, we're looking at room 207 on television. I switched on the television.
The Book of the Dead.
Yeah, I mean, the Book of the Dead. And they are switched on television. Sort of, when they were still preparing the thing, Intersection, the director wanted me to come and write for them, but the producers didn't like, I don't know, something happened. And I was really, cross. And at that time, I was really hungry, and it was like 9:30 or 10:30. I was like, shit, these people, they took my idea. I called my publisher at the same time. She couldn't answer the phone, so she didn't see the show. And the NB lawyers, they said, no. They said, no, well, anyway, the director, he's as poor as you are. And I tried. They said they're not going to sue because he doesn't have anything.
Did you perhaps have an affair with the director and you broke up with him?
He is a he.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, The little man or the little woman is not alive.
Okay.
From Level said, no, the little man, you let the little man. So he was urging all of you to be somehow. So I think I'm still not somehow, I am me.
Okay. Next follow-up question. I'm just going to throw it to you and I'll pass it on to you. Have been writing since 2006.
91.
Well, 91 maybe. Or since you were 5.
Something like
but
that,
who's
yeah.
counting? Anyway, but Room 207 came out in 2006. And you have since written Book of the Dead, and you are a very prolific writer because you write frequently and you blog on Book Essay and so forth. How is writing working for you? And as a follow-up question to Cynthia, you most recently quit your day job so that you could be a writer. Who does that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Safi is married to a doctor.
There's something that you can't really explain. They don't really make sense to a normal person because as a writer, you become abnormal. I was abnormal in my community. I became the hobo with the manuscript. And, it's kind of funny when you look at me and they said, no, I was telling some couple of fellow writers that I drive a taxi. They couldn't believe it. And I do drive a taxi. Every day I hood, beep, 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 down. And, well,
But
writing,
I thought you were from Limpopo, not KZN.
Well, yeah, they're Zulus.
That's a taxi driver joke, people.
They won't understand the Zulus. And so the writing part of it, I've been doing since, let me say I was 2, if I could count really.
He was doodling. It's
it only
art.
came in public in 1996, but I was doing it since I was born, so you people should believe that. And so along the way, you kind of find your way to live and still become a writer at the same time, maintain it, because when I write for myself, and most of the things that I've written, I think even people will kill me if they could read them. So most of them, they're gathering digital dust in my laptop.
Okay. And Cynthia, full-time writer, Sissy?
No. I didn't. I learned from you. No, I wouldn't do that. Zugiswa is a full-time writer here. No, I didn't quit, the 9 to 5 to be a full-time writer. I quit because I just wanted to go into business, which is what people do here, go into business. But I was working, I was working so hard, and there was just no break. There was just, corporate is demanding, and I think a lot of people will attest. Sometimes corporate is demanding. I'm in management consulting. I'm basically what you'll call a corporate prostitute, which means if things are not working out, you call a management consultant, and we work our magic, and voila, you're back in business. But that is very taxing because you are expected to deliver over and above. You're expected really to deliver miracles, and I found that kind of I couldn't separate my life from work. It just became one. I'll get up at 7, I'm at the client office, get home at 8, eat quickly, I live alone so I can do all those things, eat quickly, then my laptop is on again and I'm working. Midnight, go to sleep, get up again at 6, it was becoming like that, and I wasn't writing as much. So, I decided that I couldn't live like this. I was dying slowly. You know how it is when you spend a couple of days without putting something down. It just feels weird.
No.
And I was that's because you're doing it every day. So it just started feeling very weird and uncomfortable for me. So I had to make the decision. It's been very difficult because I don't show up as often as I used to. I don't drink cocktails as often as I used to. So there has been definite downgrade in my life. But I think I'm happier. I think I'm more fulfilled. I think I have more time for
Have
me.
you got any tenders?
I'm still working my way.
Would you like me to talk to Ronnie Casuals for you?
I don't know if you've noticed, but the former minister has become one of my very good friends.
Kebesi, what made you think of the idea of an HIV virus actually speaking the story? Because in this book, it is the virus that speaks the story. I mean, in the early part, you've got the characters, and later on, the Book of the Dead is just the section where the virus speaks. What gave you that idea? It was actually quite amazing for me when I read through it.
We were here in Durban on one of those Durbanites thing. Well, Durbanites, it's actually, when Joburgers come to Durban, they call it Durbanites. So we go to Durban and do the Durban thing. So I think we were at the Marine Parade. It's 3 in the morning. We haven't caught any fish, so it was like very bad day.
He means real fish, people.
Yeah, so no problem. We're like sitting there with a couple of beers in our hand. And a friend of mine, would you believe that's the future South African president? And a friend of mine goes like, I am dying. And I look at him and said, no problem, my friend, we'll bury you. And then 2 weeks later, indeed, we're burying him. And there's talk, HIV. So I asked the sister, I said, I hear things like this. She said, no. And there's what do they call in medical terms? When the doctor approves that you really died and this is the cause of death and everything.
Medical certificate?
Yeah, medical certificate.
Or death
Thank
certificate?
You. No, the medical one where the
Okay.
doctor says to sign. And it's like, wow. And then you kind of go back and you remember that, no, we were somewhere in Stenger. And I was like, do you have any good condoms with you? He says, no. We got into a garage and then I come with the God and say, he doesn't ask for any. It's like, oh, we went there and then apparently, I think there was this big soccer match in Durban. We didn't really watch the soccer, we were watching the fishes. And I think we caught enough to go around that Saturday. So enjoyable, but then he still didn't ask for the God of protection, so.
There you have it, people. It's Saturday night. If you're going to go out, use a condom. Cynthia.
I haven't finished.
Well, I'm cutting you off. I want to ask
I'm
Cynthia
a
a
writer,
question.
so relax, be patient.
Okay.
These people are not rushing. It's the last day of the show. We're having good times, people. Thank you.
Excellent.
And so what happened is like, it comes back. And when I was like thinking about it and said, no, something. And then you kind of look at the colors, the way we were going, and then you think, whoa, there's a problem here. And then that's when I stopped. I said, no, I won't do it again. And this was I think it was in 1999. And so when I wrote it, it was like a memoir, not a memoir, a biography about a friend of mine who died of HIV. Mm-hmm. And somewhere along the line, because I was reading HIV since 1990, and I thought, how do I do it in such a way that it can change people's lives? And so I dwell on the idea until why not let the disease tell itself? And then that's what happened. And we have Book of the Dead on the shelf.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Princess. Princess is a lawyer. She's got a very successful life, independent, go-getter. Mm-hmm. What's with the drug dude? What's with the drug dude?
Well, they say love is blind, right? And, you know, Princess also had to be tested. She had been searching for love. She comes from a broken family, and she had an altercation with her father many years ago, and she's refused to see him.
Don't give away the book too much. They won't buy it.
I'm just giving the context why it's important for her to hold on to this guy who's a nice guy, but just got caught up in the wrong habit, as they all are, right? They're all very nice, but with yeah. So she has been, you know, she's this woman who, you know, she can meet you, you know, and you would fall over her, and she wouldn't care less for you, you know, and that's just how she's learned to protect herself. But when this guy comes, he understands her, you know. Princess is one of those people. She's petite, she's small, but she has the loudest voice because she just can't deal with the silence. But when the guy comes, you know, he calms her down, you know, and for Princess, that's a major thing. So she after she meets the guy, they get together, and for her, she's content, and for her, this is what she has been missing, and for her, she starts, you know, breaking all the rules that she ever held, you know, for herself, that she would not be played, she will not anybody eat off her, because she invites the guy to move in with her. The guy just comes in with a backpack, you know, that's so she starts breaking all the rules because she has connected with the guy to, you know, at the level, like this deep level that we all look for, and and she won't let it go, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, so 50 million South Africans. Generally, your books, a print run is 2,500. Mm-hmm. And if you sell 5,000, you're a bestseller. Mm-hmm. What do you both suggest can be done for your books to be more out there? Because I have noticed in most public forums, when people actually come across your books, these are stories that resonate, and when they do actually read them, people enjoy them. So what's your idea? How are you going to get your books out there? How are South Africans going to start reading? How are the people in the audience going to be complaining that your books have sold out during the second half?
It's a difficult question.
Yeah,
well, the first thing that you think, it's, well, out of the 50 million South Africans we have, some of them, you know, they are sort of taken in a way where most of our market, most of my readers, you know, when they want the book, I tell them to go to exclusive book. It's not there that person makes a U-turn. He doesn't say, order it for me or do anything. And in a way,
Adams?
Yeah.
Our sponsors?
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about them because maybe they can answer for themselves. And, you know, it's sort of, they kind of ignore us in every sphere, not only in books. They ignore the black market in most of the we're like the second thought of everything. When everything that happens in South Africa, even the middle class, is now getting considered because they can really buy flashy cars and all.
Well, I don't think anybody likes the black market, really.
Then how do we make them like it? Well, I think the solution would be, let's start selling the books, but then who's going to write them?
Okay. Cynthia, your solution to people reading more and buying more books so that you can actually live off your whatever and not worry about too much consultation.
Yeah, true. I don't have a solution, unfortunately. You know, this is something that you don't find out until you yourself have written a book. Because I read, and I think because most of us here read, we make an assumption that everybody else does it, right? And everybody else is buying books. So when my book came out, because you know when you're writing your book for the first time, you're not really interested in understanding how, you know, who's buying books, how many are sold. You just want your book to get to a publisher and she's gonna be interested and publish the book. What happens afterward, you know, usually with the first, you know, your first royalty check, and then you're like, huh? And, and then you pay, you know, you pay attention, then you go back to look at the stats, and then, you know, they tell you all these things. And because you've asked, like, why are you only printing 2,500 books? Shouldn't you be printing like 1 million or something? And then, but you don't really think about it until you're there. I don't have a solution. When I came in on Sunday, I think we spent we went to bed very late. I was with Tando, and Tando is also one of the proponents for promoting writing. And I was sitting with Tando and Yewande, and we were interrogating poor Colin, just asking how they've managed to do this in Jamaica, how they've managed to introduce the love of books in a country like, because Jamaica is very much like South Africa. And I really don't have a solution. I think it is about writers taking... So obviously the publishers have maybe tried, I don't know if they've tried, maybe they haven't tried it, the bookstores are just, you know, whatever sells, they're interested in that. I guess then the real responsibility has to lie with the writer. I think we can't afford anymore to be, you know, just be happy with content that the book is out there, you've done your bit. I remember when Happiness came out, I didn't get a book launch. I was told that it's your first book, you know, you're not gonna launch. So I organized to launch it. And I launched it, you know, in a suburb. Yeah. Never occurred to me to launch it in Soweto, for example. And I think you learn and you talk to other writers, and this is a concern, especially you and other guys who have been there, you know, for a very long time, that this is a concern. And I just think, I don't know. I think as writers we need to pull in and we need to change it, because nobody is going to change it for us.
Okay. Well, can I
yeah.
not follow protocol once and ask you? I mean, you had a fight with CNA, and I was all for you, girl. You tried with Read SA, and then when things were looking like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, you ran away to some foreign country. I mean, I felt sad.
Well, on the record, Read SA was not my initiative. It's a writer's initiative. So you could have carried it on. There are over 200 writers in this country, you know, and I told you all you needed to do. But this is not about me. This is about y'all.
No, so. Really. Well, before you can, you're right. It really is about. You see, that's the thing. That's why I'm saying we have to help ourselves, because nobody's going to help us. And we have to commit to it, Khibitli.
Yeah, right. You're right.
Let's get ready to rumble.
I'm committed to the writing, not to the selling or anything, because I write for myself. Whether they buy the book, they don't buy the book.
Okay.
That's the thing that I take.
Look.
What's the point?
I think you're right. You are entitled to that. For you, it's important that you get your work out there. But I think for me, the greatest thing that could ever happen is to get somebody. You know, with Happiness, I think it started to do that. I've had people who have come to me to say, I haven't read a book for pleasure since many years, since high school, since university. Even then, it wasn't for pleasure. It was prescribed, right?
That's the problem.
And they say they haven't read a book for pleasure in many years. Self-help doesn't count, because everybody reads those books. But they haven't read fiction. That's
the root of the problem that we have to answer, not the booksellers.
No. But what I'm saying is...
You just pointed at the problem. You just said, you had this person who said, I haven't read anything in a long time. That's the problem. We don't have people who like read.
No, but Kebetli, perhaps the problem, I think what Cynthia is trying to address though, is that perhaps the problem is when somebody says to her, I hadn't read a book in a long time, and then I read your book and it resonated, and now I need to buy more South African books. It's because they were not aware that the books existed. So, for instance, when they go into a bookstore, they see Jim Patterson and whoever, and they don't see Kebetli Moeli or Cynthia Jelle. So maybe And you are in a bookstore, but you'll be in a little corner called Africana,
Yes.
you know? With
Too bad.
all the other African writers on the whole continent. So there's a copy of each of you. And if that one book of yours sells out and nobody goes to the front desk and say, oh, can I get room 207? They actually won't order it because they'll be like, there's no demand.
Yeah, writing a book, it's not good enough for most of us. It might work for some people, but it's just not good enough for
But
most of
there's
us.
a classic thing that I remember about one of her friends. He went to the school that he used to go to, donated 6 books. And all of those 6 books, they didn't even reach the intended audience because the teachers like, this one is mine, this one is mine, this one is mine. They ended up. And I'm talking about teachers.
That's Limpopo tendency.
I did the same thing.
I'm sorry to tell you, he was an Eastern Caper.
And the same thing happened. I was going around Durban. For the first time in my life, I visited the schools in Durban, except for Marine Parade. And, all the teachers, they kind of, we're foreign. They don't even have an idea who we are. You're from Time of the Writer. Wait, they were here last year. Oh. And then you have to introduce yourself. My name is this guy. Oh, you're the one. They opened the program. Like, oh, you're the one who... I said, yes. But, these are the people who are supposed to be encouraging literature. I didn't like Shakespeare at school, but my teacher made me like Shakespeare. He inspired me to read Shakespeare. And it's something that goes deep because when you look at it, when these school teachers, they're not having any impact, they're waiting for Upita Rovik, you're doing a great job, sir, to come to their school and tell them about there's a world of literature out there which can enrich people. And I'm not rich financially, I'm very poor. But
because you're
when
not
you look
selling
at
books.
Huh? Well, I read books.
You're not
I am
selling.
wealthy.
Reading won't
I am
bring you
literally
money, my
wealthy.
friend.
Eh?
Sorry, reading won't bring you money.
Well, that's because I told you, when I write for myself. And then that's the greatest pleasure I have out of writing. It's a self-expression mode. This publishing thing, it's a second kind of feel where a friend of mine, the main character in Room 207, Umatumi, is...
A friend of yours, did you say, in Room 207?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to get that
No
right.
connection, my dear. Well, he just suggested, no, this is good enough to publish. And that's what we did, and fortunately it got published. Well, I hoped for more money, it didn't come. So I said, well...
No, but I think maybe just to summarize this, I think we write because we like to write, and most of us write for ourselves.
I feel you, sister.
And I think the financial gains are secondary. I think for us, at least as South African writers, our main goal, or I speak for myself, is to see as many people reading our books. And I think that's just our main goal, is to get people interested in reading, is to, if you have that last 200 rands and you're standing between Drunk Vekel and Adam's bookstore, choose Adam's bookstore every now and then, and don't, I think that's the essence of it. For the financial gains, I think we've all understood that maybe that will happen, maybe it will never happen, but just getting people to know that there is content, and there's so much of it now. There's so many writers. You go to any bookstore at any given time, you choose. There's genre, there's all kinds of books, and it's all local content that is relevant to us. And I think
You're contradicting, my dear. You're just complaining about the retailers not having your books. Now you're speaking totally different thing again.
No. What I'm saying, yes, we do.
You just
want
said there is content, there is flavor, and then
Hey, are you the facilitator or am I?
I'm just correcting my sister here.
Okay. All right, maybe I'll throw this to both of you. A friend of mine was at the airport, not myself, and he was at the airport and he saw somebody reading his book. you know, like looking at his book, and he was very excited, and he said, "Hello, excuse me," and they said, "Yes," and he said, "I'm the author of that book. Would you like me to autograph it for you?" And they looked at him, and he said, "What?" And he said, "I wrote that book. Would you like me to autograph it?" And he's like, "Oh, no, somebody left it here, so I was just looking at the back, and I was about to leave it." My question then is, perhaps your work as South African writers is not good enough on the international stage, and maybe that's why people are not buying it. What do you think?
To judge that, it has to be read first. If they read it and then they said it's not good enough, but you can't judge the book by the cover, there's a saying. I think if they could read Room 207 and come out straight and say, "Mr. Moele, you need to keep driving that taxi." That would be great. Okay. But if they just sit there and say, "No, they don't know what they are missing," because I think there are Mr. Moele is just, he's nothing. I have very good writers around me, and I always think of myself, the other one. So I'm not that good, but there are very, very good South African writers, and I'm fortunate enough to sit next to two of them right here. The other one is Men of the South. I have to confess, I'm not like I'm promoting, but that's one of the greatest.
Thank you.
Well, it's the truth.
What do you think? Is our writing good enough? Is it competitive with the international market?
Yeah, I think so. I won't expand. I think Gebetle put it well. I think so.
Because there is something that I've seen with international writing. They always have formulas. That's why they have labels: crime writer, science fiction writer. They all have this skeleton that they only put flesh on it, like, here's a book. And then they can do it, do it every time. I'm a crime writer, this is 007, we do it, a series of the books. So.
Careful, Jesse's here.
Well, no offense, Jesse, but I'm just telling what's there. You have it's an 007 series of books, and then all the cars, they all have magic.
All right.
It's like you putting flesh on a body, and it's unfortunate it's working every time, and they're making huge money out of it, and congratulations, but it's not good literature.
Sticks and stones, Kebetli. Anyway, we are going to open this up to the audience. I've got a little surprise for the member of the audience who makes a good question in the shortest space of time.
No writers asking, thank you.
Anybody can ask. There's a question up here, down here.
Hi. Sorry, Bedley, I'm a writer and I'm asking a question. Since you haven't followed some of the rules, I think I can break some of the rules. You said that you write for yourself, right? I think you've both agreed that. But I just wanted to make a comment. It's not even actually a question, but I think...
Thank you.
I think we writers like to think we write for ourselves. But I disagree with that. I don't think writers write for themselves. Even when I write in my diary for myself when I was younger, I used to put code words in case someone ever read it. So I really think, do you really think you're writing completely for yourself without an audience? Honestly, I couldn't let that pass. Yeah. Why even publish then? Yeah.
Exactly. Most importantly, to follow up, Shona, is that you just said the reason why you wrote Book of the Dead was because you thought it would resonate if you spoke in the voice, whatever, to an audience. So there you go.
Can I say something again to clarify myself? I started writing in 1991. And when I started writing, I was doing it for myself until to the point where we were in 1998. No, it was 1999. And the point, Book of the Dead was written before Room 207.
Yes, I remember.
So it came, the Book of the Dead was written in 98, and book of Room 207 was written in 1999. So it was a self-expression. I was expressing myself for myself. And after the publication of that book, it sort of comes back to a point where, and this is the most worst thing about writing for the public that I have, because now comes censorship. Every word that I'm writing is censored. You have to think, I mean, all the good words that you write about, you're thinking, maybe I stole this one from Zugis or something.
Or what will my mother say?
Yeah, those kind of things. And they come to you. But prior to 2006, before Room 207 came out, I was writing for myself. And I was thinking, I had this thought that I'll be a filmmaker. I mean, I was like pushing film, trying to get into television.
Okay, next question. I'm censoring.
Thank you.
There's a question. Okay, yes.
Hi, my name is Sihlim Tembu. I would just like to ask you, as writers, what do you think is the role of literature in post-1994 South Africa? What value does writing and reading books add to our society?
Post-apartheid question.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think you can put the value of literature in time. It is timeless. So whether you were reading in apartheid, or whether you're reading in democracy, or whether you have a dictator, or whether you have a womanizer as a president, you have to read.
Cynthia?
I wasn't... You people are misreading my mind. You're misreading what I'm saying. So I'm going to choose to shut up.
Cynthia?
Yeah, I do tend to agree with Kgebetle in terms of...
Thank you.
I don't know, but not necessarily the last statement. I'm not part of that. But writing is timeless. Writing, if you were asking, I think your question was, is there a book still relevant in post-apartheid South Africa? Yeah, I think yes.
Okay. Any other question? In the middle there. How much time do we have?
Okay. An hour.
So, yeah, I can take those 1, 2, and 3 in the middle question, and 4. But make it short, please.
Okay, I'm Siphelele Ngobane, and I'm a journalism student. So I want to know what the role of the media as like people, maybe newspapers, mostly in African newspapers that write in indigenous languages. Because we find that mostly for Durban newspapers, they make you read the daily news. They've got like a whole page of reviews of the writings. And then in our African newspapers like Isolezo, Ilang, you find just a short space. How can you promote the culture of reading African books written by South African writers?
The role of the media? I think obviously the media is important. I'm going to make an example. When Happiness came out, we had my publisher organized for a couple of editors from different magazines to come and meet me, come and you know, look at the book and read the book. And then the magazines came out, and almost all of the magazine editors that had come in did do a little review of Happiness. And that helped a lot in terms of creating awareness. Media, all forms of media, be it print, be it radio, be it television, I think it's critical, you know, especially media that reaches to the communities, you know, the national television, the radios, they're very critical in promoting awareness around books that are available locally. So yeah, it's still relevant, and I think it plays a very big role. I don't know if you want to add.
Next question, over there.
Sanbonan.
Yeah, Bo.
My question is like, I've heard Mr. there in front saying that he only writes for himself, and it's like everyone is not thinking of how to publish or to write the books. Say you are walking in the corner of the road, and I'm standing with all of your books. They are all copied with your pictures in front. They are all in black and white, and I'm selling them for 5 rand, and every cent I get is for myself. How would you feel about that?
I would say go get.
If
At
they,
least you're
you mean
promoting.
if they started pirating the books, that's a good. Well, it's bad to say this, but remember, you do want to sell, you do want to make money, but you also want to you also want to create awareness. I wouldn't encourage it. I think I'll be one of those people who go on national TV and holding a placard saying no to pirating books. No, yeah. I think when we're talking about we write for ourselves, I don't think we're meaning like, we just want, I think it's more like we write what is relevant for us, what we want to write. Just to clarify that point, I think, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's a question there.
Thanks, fascinating discussion. Going back to what you guys said about having the small run of the books, this weekend, this movie came out, is raising millions of dollars in the box office, The Hunger Games, based on a series of books for young adults. Books turning into blockbuster movies, the vampire thing, Harry Potter now. So how do you feel about certain kinds of books, particularly like this young adult genre, is becoming very, very popular, being sold out a lot? And do you think that's a good thing, or do you think it's crowding out some of the more literary fiction that maybe you guys are working with? Or did you ever feel tempted to put in more vampires and things in your books? Maybe, I don't know. So how do you feel about that?
Vampire Stories of Limpopo.
Now that would be Tokolosh. Tokoloshi of Limpopo.
I think with Kucha I came close.
All right.
I don't know. I'm sorry, sir. I think I missed the question. Were you asking us if we are feeling compelled to also start creating?
No, I think the more people read, the better. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, people are not the same, and people are moved by different things. Some people enjoy sci-fi. I don't particularly care for it, but it works for some people. So I think I've been saying this to Jesse. Jesse, it's time for a Tokoloshi story from Limpopo, because what I know is that they say Limpopo is the only province with a witchery unit, in the police. So yes, there are stories.
Okay, I understand that our time is up. I would like to ask the young lady who plans to photocopy books to just come forward. Please come forward.
We don't want to see a copy of this on the street.
For a very entertaining question, we are going to give a copy of each of these authors' books. And we hope that we don't see them on the street of Durban. You've been a lovely audience. You've got 15 minutes break. We hope to see you again after 15 minutes. Thank you.